This is one of my absolutely favorite RC planes, just because it is so fun to fly. So certainly I had to purchase a float set for this RC plane, because that will extend the use of it. So I'm just interested to get this one up in the air and see how it handles on flow. So let's go outside and do some water flying. It's early morning, just at sunrise. I have this rather lovely Valiant to fly. Calm, a little bit of misty morning. So let's go then. We recently get this one up in the air. This is my maiden flight then with the Valiant on floats. Of course, I've just flown this plane so many times, and it is a truly fantastic plane, how it flies. Really great with these stripes underneath the wing. And I mean, every time I bring this one, it's just a joy to fly it. So easy. Good amount of power also. And in general, very easy to move around in the sky, regardless if I'm going in inverted or just in normal direction. Inverted loops, just super rock steady. This isn't a fast rolling RSL plane, so I've just increased throws on this RSL plane to have it to fly more than I like to fly it, with more agility on the roll axis then. So I mean, it's okay. Even point rolls are really easy to achieve, going straight if I point this plane up a bit. And just behind me I have a rather tall line of trees, because it's kind of steep uphill, so I have absolutely zero room behind me, or at least 5 meters behind me. But when you fly on top of the water, just on the lake, usually you have a good vast amount of space. Very easy just to get up, get down. I mean, there are no bumps on the water unless it's really windy and a lot of waves. But I think that most stars airplanes you should really fly when it's calm, or maybe like 5 or 6 meter wind per second, and you will have a very enjoyable time. And this Valiant is I would say that it would work just fine as a beginner RC plane in most aspects. And the great thing then, you could also grow with this RC plane just to do in like inverted flying and aerobatics. So I'm not too keen about the construction. I think it's a kind of a squeaky foam, but just the flying experience is really, really enjoyable and really great. I think it's a beautiful location. Just look, it's like Mirror Lake. Just going slow and see the shadow in the water. It's just a really beautiful thing. So just straight ahead here to the left then is the sun, so it hasn't really hit the water yet. And this is kind of the optimum light conditions I like to fly in. There are a little bit of light clouds, orientation and contrast is good. I have the sun just to my left, which I'm used to having. It's not interfering with my view in any way. Just a nice, calm, quiet morning. And this flight is on a 2200 3S battery, and I suppose you could continue to run this one for at least 8 minutes. I'm making this flight a little bit short to just not have a too long video, but you can run this one for a very long time. It can also take 1300 milliamp batteries, and I think you have to put the battery all the way forward in the battery compartment and just to have it balanced in a good way. I would so wish for E-Flite to make a version 2 of this RSI plane with some improvements. Or should I say version 3, because I think that this is actually the version 2, which featured then an updated spectrum receiver and also telemetry. But there are a few things that could be done in a better way. Maybe just offer this one in a bush plane and float configuration and with large bush wheels, and it will handle almost any surface. So time's up. I mean, no battery warning whatsoever. Just making this flight a little bit shorter than what I can do. Really enjoyable to fly with flaps. Really slow. And these floats also, they are really lightweight, so they do not add much to the overall weight on this RSI plane. If you haven't tried float flying, I can highly recommend it because it is so enjoyable. And I think that almost all RSI planes just look more beautiful with float. So let's get this one down then. Just flare at the end a little bit. Yeah, almost zero throttle. A really enjoyable flight with this Valiant. When it comes to floats on RSI plane, it's always interesting because they do assemble a little bit different. And with this one then, this is a Hobby Zone float set. And it wasn't really too straightforward just to figure out which bracket I should use, because there are brackets included in the float set and there are brackets included in the Valiant, I believe. But finally I just figured it out, and I mean, surely they work. I would like to have seen some sort of water rudder, because steering on water becomes more problematic when you don't have a water rudder then. And also I would really like to have seen like reverse thrust on this RSI plane. So surely I can just replace the speed controller inside to have a proper avian one, and then I can do reverse thrust. So that is something that I might do in the future. But this is a great flying RSI plane overall. Even with floats, I think it handles great. And as always with floats, I think it adds just more mass and a greater look in the sky when you see the RSI plane. So I will come back to this one and just show more flights, because it is more or less just a fantastic and fun RSI plane to fly.